everybody.
Hello, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
I'll tell you what, I was so sure yesterday was Thursday. So sure yesterday was Thursday. Literally, I started wishing people a happy week, like have a great weekend. It was Wednesday. Today's Thursday.
Okay, well, yes, it's time for Moment of Presence.
Apparently, I need to have more moments of presence.
I would think that that's probably what that statement was telling you. Yes.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, welcome everybody. Glad you're here to Moment of Presence to join us, Krista and I. I am Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching, and
I'm Krista, Michelle's daughter, COO, BFF. Wizard of Operations, all
yes,
those good things.
I would definitely say that. As you were typing last night, we were like, "What the heck are you typing that you're going that fast?" Yeah,
That's what I do.
it's incredible.
Anywho, today we're talking about the Dance of Duality.
Yes. Dance of Duality, one of my favorite things, actually. When you read into it, are up on it, and you research it, and you really think about it, you're like, oh. So, what's your definition of duality? And then I'll give my analogy.
Analogy, okay. My definition of duality
Or
is
analogy.
my definition of duality is I would say it's two opposite sides. Like, two opposite ends of a spectrum.
Yes. That's a great definition.
I mean, two sides of a coin, two different ways to look at things, two different ways to
Sides
do
of a
things,
stick.
opposites.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The what I want to apply that to today
Mm-hmm.
for moment of presence,
Mm-hmm.
haha, is what does that look like in our our self actualization, self reflection, finding ourselves journey?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? So when you think of duality in that sense, duality would be like the clouds moving in the sky. Non duality would be the sky.
What? No, I'm playing. So I was expecting you to compare the clouds to something, but you're just saying duality. Wait, I'm gonna need
Well,
you to.
okay. So duality would be the clouds being the emotions that we feel, the
Mm-hmm.
things that happen in our life, but are they're happening, but that's not who we are. That might be our titles. It might be, like daughter, like exactly how you introduce yourself. That could be the clouds, but that's not who you really are,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the non-duality part would be the sky, like your deep spirit, your essence.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Makes sense.
It does. My brain. It's like when you go to eat something and it doesn't taste like what you thought it was gonna be, so it takes like your brain a second to like re. I thought you were gonna go in a different direction, so you threw me off a little bit, but I get you now. Understood. I'm with you. Tracking.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And listen, anyone that's joining us, please give us your definition of duality and non-duality, and we're going to talk about all of them.
Interesting that in and of itself is duality.
True. Very true. Yeah. So awareness of self versus a separation of self, as in, yeah, okay. So that's
you're you're losing me. I'm trying so hard to keep up, and maybe I'm just a little bit tired right now. But I'm gonna
no.
need us to get more basic with the topic.
Okay, here. Very, very
Yeah.
someone says I'm sick
Okay.
versus I'm feeling sick today. Like you're not sick, like you are not sickness,
Mhm.
you're feeling sick. Duality.
Totally.
Um I'm I'm happy and joyful today. Cool. I'm feeling joy or God, this day sucked. Did it really, or was that one moment, that one meeting I had really was challenging? But my day as a whole was really cool.
Stop. Stop. You gotta stop looking at me like that. You're making me laugh. Yeah, no, I totally understand. I'm tracking. And so I feel like we need to get a bit more rudimentary with
Yeah.
duality because I feel like yes, 100%, but let's bring it back more to basics.
Okay. Go for it. when,
Okay.
when, when you do meditation,
Yep.
and you know how we sit in meditation and you get quiet and you're observing your breath.
Mhm.
Are you, I did this meditation the other day. You are not the body. You are the observer of the
Mhm.
body. Like
Mhm.
it's just this beautiful woman and her voice. And so it's you're observing your body breathing,
Mhm.
but you're not the body breathing because
Yep.
there's something deeper inside. And it's that stillness. So a different analogy would be, are you the ocean or are you the waves? Right? You're not the waves. You're the deepest part of the ocean where the stillness is.
Yeah. Well, and it's along the lines of what we put in the description where it's like, it's kind of like it's really the duality is also like the different perspectives. So in our description for this episode, it was on one hand, you want to be living a passion filled life. You want to feel passionate about what you're doing. The duality is you're also feeling stuck, tired, unfulfilled, not passionate. So, even in that, so there's, let's say, even another example, dating. You want to be in love. You want to be in a committed relationship. You want to feel, happy, spending time with another person, be married, have kids, blah, blah, blah. On the other side of things, you probably maybe feel a little bit lonely, a little bit down, questioning, frustrated. And so there's real practical everyday examples of duality through looking at our different perspectives. So to your point, and I'm talking through this even for me, your point that you're making is like instead of yes, okay, I'm not feeling well, the other side of that is that you're associating that with you are unwell versus taking a step back and saying, okay, I'm feeling sore throat, runny nose, whatever. The more maybe efficient duality, other side of that is I'm healing. My body is healing from these things.
Yes, absolutely. And the difference of enjoying all of life no matter what comes of you, right? Because if you're the ocean, it doesn't matter whether there's waves on the top and it's a choppy or it's a ripple,
Hmm.
you're still the ocean. And so the same thing, you're still Krista, whether you and I'm just, because you brought up dating, whether you're dating or you're not dating, you're still Krista. And you can have a moment where you want more, but can you have gratitude and feel passion for the life you're living right now? And that's and this goes back to the emotional work that we do,
Hmm.
as far as, are we allowing the emotions to define our life? Are we allowing the wants and what we think we need in our life to be happy, are we allowing that to define us? Or are we who we are with our values intact, going, whatever happens, I'm me and I'm happy with me. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna deal with whatever comes up, right? And so then you're in control of your emotions versus your emotions controlling you. You're always the stillness.
Mhm.
Even when we get out of control, when we have a moment where we're out of control, hurricane comes across through the ocean. Okay. But on the other side is the calm. And it's not resisting or pushing back, but just allowing it to flow through. Because if you allow it to flow through, it's going to go much quicker, whatever it is. Tornado, hurricane, it's going to be much quicker than if you try to push back on it and go, no, stay away.
Mhm.
And you feel it, sucks for the moment, but on the other side of it is the calm again. And so that's the dance of the duality, is to go with the flow of life and just say, I'm present for whatever life is bringing me today.
Mhm.
And that's where we get to have fun and do, like with Abraham, Abraham Hicks says, hey universe, surprise and delight me today. And it's like, surprise and delight me today.
Mhm.
But then you have to be aware enough, present enough in the moment, that when you're walking on the sidewalk, you actually get to see whatever was laid out to surprise and delight you, whether it was a really pretty butterfly or a dragonfly, or there's a beautiful hawk in the sky, or um, a flower.
Get the urge to walk into a coffee shop even though maybe you just had a coffee.
And you meet the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with.
Yep.
It's just being in that moment enough to be aware, to be able to welcome in
Mhm.
everything that you've been asking for.
Yeah.
And part of this came up, we're redoing the pool, and that's huge for me. And I can either feel, and in the beginning I was like so resistant. I was like, oh, like I don't
Mhm.
want to do this. But yet, when I went back and I looked at my list of 300 things that I want, how many times I said pool redone, pool redone? And I'm like, I'm getting exactly what I want. Why am I resisting this? And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so it may take a week. Yeah, there's people that don't have a pool. If I'm really desperate, I can buy a kiddie pool, for God's sakes. Like, this is stupid. In the big, you
Scheme of
know,
things.
problems and troubles in the world, this is like not even a raindrop.
Mhm.
This is ridiculous. And so once
Yeah.
I was able to get curious about it, I realized where that angst was coming from, like yesterday, as I was watching it all happen. And then I was like, oh, well, that's silly. And then I let it go. Like, okay, like I acknowledged it. Cool. I get it. And then, phew, it's gone.
Yeah. And I mean, it brings up a great point of how often, do we even talk about on this show where you may not know the reason for things in the moment. Looking back, you can look back and go, oh, that's why that had to happen that way. That's why that didn't work out. That's why that, even though it was a sucky thing to happen, had to have happened. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's also a great way to even just have confidence in that things are always going to work out, is when you can look back and say, oh, I see, I have been asking for this. I just didn't expect, just like the beginning of this episode, I wasn't expecting it to be presented this way, but now I gotcha. Okay, now I'm on track.
So then the question is, how do you recognize when you're not on track? How do you recognize when you're not aligned?
Hmm. Oh, you're
And,
asking me?
well,
Really
I'm
good
just saying in
question.
general, I'm putting that question out there.
It's a good question. I think it's, I feel like we touched on this before, and I would say the same thing I did, which was, I think it can be very dependent on the person. I think that what that looks like for you may be different for somebody else. There's probably some common themes, some common denominators, but I think it's very dependent on the person.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
like
would,
for us, we're big on angel numbers. Someone else may be like, that means absolutely nothing to me. But
right.
there's something else that means so much to them.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the last week I have been tracking, and like 11 11 every day, 12 12 1 1
Yeah.
1 1 1 1 4 4 4, and all I do is I like snap a picture on my phone and
Mhm.
then I write it in my journal so I can see like what are the common themes. Because when, and if you don't know, not you, but if you don't look, if you don't know, you can look up the numbers and you can look up like what is the meaning of seeing 1 1 1, you know, every day, or 3 3 3, or whatever it is. I'm shocked I haven't been seeing more 5 5 5, because that's the number of change, and you would think that that's what would be popping up for me right now.
But I think it brings up a really good point is that that's a good place to start,
Mm-hmm.
looking up what those numbers mean. But again, it's so incredibly dependent on the person and what that
Absolutely.
represents for you. So it's a great place to start,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the end all be all.
Right. Well, it's the same with anything, right? I mean, even a definition of a word like today, duality and, you know, non-duality, what does that mean to you versus what does it mean to me? Or what was I meaning for
Hmm.
today versus the bigger, broader definition, which is two sides of a stick, which is exactly what we're talking about. But how do you know when you're not aligned? I feel anxious. I feel off. Uh, things don't seem to be working out. I don't feel present. My mind is somewhere else.
As I
Um,
say, things aren't like, usually for me, it's like things aren't falling into place easily. Like it
right.
just feels
Hard.
difficult. Yeah.
Like it just feels hard and
Mhm.
heavy. And we both know our, you know, we've done enough work that we know the difference between feeling lighter versus feeling heavier. And when
Mhm.
something feels heavy, it's like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And by me looking at my big list yesterday and recognizing, oh, wait, I've been writing this for years. It's been 10 years in the making of what we're doing around the house. And it's like, oh, well, now I feel lighter because I'm like, oh, the universe is finally delivering. Like I was
Mhm.
waiting and waiting and tapping my foot. Like, when's this going to happen? Well, now it's happening and I'm pushing back. Like, who am I to judge the universe? Now is the time. So, and every time I say that, of course, then I go back to Disney. Now is the time. Now is the okay. It was an old. It was an old ride. Yeah,
I was gonna say I don't know that one, and I'm shocked.
yeah. It's the carousel of life. Carousel.
Still progress?
Yes, carousel of progress.
Ah, yeah, I haven't.
I think
Did
they
I?
closed
I don't
that
know
one.
that I. Yeah, they did. I don't know if I did. I ever ride that run? That one?
Yeah, probably when you were really little, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but how do you then become aligned when you're unaligned? And that again is you have to know thyself and
Mhm.
know what works for you, because what works for one doesn't work for everyone else. And so for me, looking at my list works for me to kind of bring me into the moment and go, oh yeah, wait a minute. And getting curious, asking myself questions, which I did that too yesterday, because I was like, why am I feeling this way? And then I realized there were like 21 earthquakes going on around, you know, the world, and a client. Um, but what do you do when you realize that you're not aligned?
Number one thing for me is to sleep.
Hmm.
Sleep for me is sort of a reset.
Mm-hmm.
So I know if I, if I'm in a weird place, I go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up with a clean slate, which is interesting because if you're a follower of Abraham Hicks, usually they say that when you fall asleep, you wake up where you last left off. I do not find that to be the case at all. I don't know if it's just something that happens to me when I sleep, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm for the first couple of minutes, I don't even remember what day it is. So for me, sleep is a great reset. Obviously, that's not always practical, and so what I do is, if it's the morning or middle of the day, whatever, it's really about taking a step back and recognizing, okay, things are not going the way I want them to.
Mm-hmm.
I need to pause for a second, kind of regroup, bring myself back to center.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need to be mindful of, okay, am I being short? Am I, delivering things the wrong? Like, what can I do
Mm-hmm.
to make this situation better? And if there is something that I can do, whether that's change the way I'm communicating, maybe just kind of pull back and not communicate as much because it's not landing right. Like, what do I need to do to shift the energy? And sometimes that's just maybe I need to go outside and sprint down the yard just to change the scenery and change the vibe. I remember there was someone we listened to years ago who said if you want to shift timeline, just do something completely out of the ordinary of what you would do. And she gave the example of like if you're at your desk, toss a pen across the room or something, like just to shift the energy. It's not something you would normally do.
Right.
So I think about that often actually, and it definitely does. Like it brings you out of it, of the
Yeah.
funk you're in.
It's true. I remember, and you probably remember it when I was in corporate, and somebody had given me that Nerf gun, and it was two. We each had guns, and so me and my boss, it like if the energy in the room was just off, we would just like pull it out and like hit each other with the Nerf guns, and it just shifted the energy in the room because then we brought out the little inner child for a moment,
Yep.
similar to the what was it, the 10-second dance off in Grey's Anatomy or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
dance party. And but those are the things that work.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you can listen to a song. We were watching something last night and I was like, yeah, I just feel like I'm being I was watching a podcast, and it's a podcast we watch all the time, and there's sometimes where it's great and cool, and the person's voice is wonderful, and then there's other times where it's like, yo, why are you yelling, like?
Quick tangent, the reason why that happens is that you're not an energetic match to what it is that
Exactly.
you're consuming. Whether and that could be content that you're watching, music that you're listening to, food that you're eating, people that you're around, co-workers that you're working with, like if there's ever a time where you're feeling like you're just not jiving with something else, it's getting under your skin, it's
Oh
just
yeah.
not sitting well, it literally could just be your energy, and whatever else it is that you're dealing with is off.
Hmm. Yeah. And the best thing to do is change the environment, how whatever that means for you. Get up, go outside, do something different, shift the energy, throw a pen, shoot a Nerf gun. uh
And I'm a big believer that it's we talk about this a lot, but it's never the other person's responsibility, the other person, the other thing, the other whatever. It's not the externals job to make
right.
changes for you. It's about you figuring out, is this something I want to be engaging with? And if so, what do I need to do in my own internal energy to get realigned here?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's so important because we've both had situations like that where we've put it on the other person. This person makes me feel this way, this person aggravates me.
You won't hear
Well,
me say that anymore.
then that person either isn't your person right now, and maybe they need to do some work on themselves. Maybe you need to do some work on yourself. There's something that isn't working with that person. It doesn't mean you have to cut the person out of your life. Maybe take a break, uh, and do something different or relate on it in a different way. But that's the time to then again get curious
Mhm.
and ask the questions to yourself, like, what is going on with me, like what's up with this? But it doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. It doesn't mean you have to like cut somebody out forever.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be what's wrong with me or what's going on with me. It can just be like, oh, I'm a little off right now. Okay,
Interesting.
that's interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
And honestly, that happens to you and I all the time because we
Hmm.
talk about this too. You're an Aries, I'm a Libra. We
Yeah.
are complete opposite sides of the zodiac spectrum. We're similar in a few ways. I feel like we're opposites in a lot of ways. We're similar in a lot of ways, but that happens to us often. We're like our energy is just a little bit mismatched. And so we'll literally say to each other, like, all right, hold on, I need you to like slow down for a second. Let me catch up to you because I am not there.
And And that is a perfect example, and that's when relationships can go wrong, when each person in the relationship, if it's a circle, if it's a group of people, sorry,
What? What?
where is she going with that? A group of people, and that's when you can get curious and go, okay, what's happening here?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I know somebody who has a group of friends and just not aligning right now with that group of friends. And it's like, it doesn't mean you have to go get a whole new group of friends, but maybe you need to up it a little
Mhm.
bit. Maybe you need to
Yeah.
surround yourself with a different group.
Well, and I think
Find somebody with the same, find a group that has the same passions as you.
yeah. This is where a lot of relationships can fall apart, is that we think we need to be exactly perfectly aligned with the people around us all the time.
Hmm.
You don't have to be. It's not vibing right now. Now, if
Right.
it's a consistent thing where people are making choices that go against what you believe in or something, like that's a different conversation. But we're just talking about like you're just not in the mood to be around somebody, or you're just like communicating is hard, or something. Just literally just give it a second. Take a step back,
Well,
bring yourself into center.
and here's something else to think about.
Hmm.
This goes with experiences, including your job or things you're being invited or included in. If it's not aligned with you, if you're raising your vibration or your alignment and you're being very self aware, those things that aren't aligned with you are going to fall by the wayside. They're just going to, and it's not that they're falling apart. Maybe they're just falling away because
Opportunities are opening up.
you're outgrowing, you're expanding,
Hmm.
and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important for people to remember, because a lot of times it's like, oh, but I'm losing so much. And over the last 5 years, there's been, people that have argued over crazy stuff. And, you know, we're judging each other. If
Hmm.
we just stay aligned and we stay present, we stay aware, and we want the best for everybody, then the right people will be in our circle. The right things will happen wherever we go. And that's the important part. We create the environment around us
Absolutely.
and our experiences.
Hmm.
What we haven't said is, if you know anyone that needs to hear what we're talking about, if you know uh, yourself or someone else that just needs to hear this message, maybe a reminder, share this out. I mean, like and subscribe, do all the things, thumbs up, because it's important. It's important. We like to know that
Hmm.
this is helpful, a helpful conversation for you. So, you want to do our deep breaths?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay. So we will bring ourselves into a moment of presence and think about, as you're taking that deep breath in and you're exhaling, think about what is it that's surfacing. Just allow anything to come up, any of the thoughts, the emotions. Don't push them down, but actually allow them to surface. So big deep breath in and then hold it. And then a real nice slow exhale. And if you want to take a moment as you inhale to jot down those feelings, go for it. Or just bring it in and remember it. Think about, where is it coming from? And then a nice slow exhale. And then, instead of judging yourself for it, can you let it go, or is it something you need to ask some more questions about? And so take a deep breath as you think about that. And just hold it and then exhale. And so I challenge you that at some point today, ask yourself some questions. Take 5 more minutes after we're done and jot down some questions or answers to your questions about how you're feeling, what's coming up for you, and why it might be happening. Where is it coming from? Um, if you need guidance with any of this, with getting really good at the duality, it's so much better to control it yourself than to allow your emotions to pull you in all different directions. Because then you just feel like a rag doll, being um, pulled and manipulated, and that's not fun. So don't allow your emotions to manipulate you. You shouldn't be manipulating your emotions. There should be a flow. There should be this allowing, because all of you is there. It's not going away. So get to know yourself well, get to know how to manage the emotions, and get comfortable having conversations. And yes, you can book a call at booksgrace.com/coaching and book a call with me, and we'll go over it. And I'll be honest with you and let you know, like, is this a moment thing, or is this something that you might want to dive a little bit deeper into? And I'm happy to guide you through that. Krista, where can people find you?
You can find me by my name on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Wicked Wisdom Consulting. And I think that's a great time to wrap up for today.
I do. If anybody has any questions, we always monitor the questions in the chat. So definitely post your questions or your thoughts as you're rewatching this video. We would love to hear what you have to say. And just, duality and non duality, and it's all about choices. And as I always say, you wake up in the morning and you get to choose, is it going to be a good day, or is it not going to be a good day? Are you going to allow the day to take you over? And so you get to decide, you get to choose. So choose wisely. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.